Three, two, one, go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Triad of the Forest podcast, a podcast from three Puerto Rican friends coming together to do deep dives into Star Wars and other nerd-related media. This is our Bad Batch Monday, and today we're going to be talking about episode 6, Decommissioned. So, what do you think about the episode?
I think it's a vast improvement over last week. Not to say that last week was a bad episode. I just had concerns about how episodes moving forward would be structured. But I thought this episode was a home run. I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of things that happened in it that I did not expect, which we'll get into in a minute. But overall, I think it was a really important episode to start moving the show in like a big new direction as opposed to where I thought it was going. So 9 out of 10 for me.
What about you, Mo?
I thought it was really nice. It was just fun all around. All those things that we've been talking about have been like either panning out or they're slowly. We're seeing how they're developing. We saw some surprises and just like old new faces, and just all around a fun episode. I really liked it.
I mean, we're seeing the Bad Batchers kind of, going along this transition of trying to figure out who they are post being soldiers, and you can see that they're starting to think more about the consequences of their actions and, the morality of the things that they do and who it affects. So I think we're moving in a good direction with that. And then obviously we got some surprises. So what do we think?
I was very, very happy to see Trace and Rafa back.
Yes!
I was like, this was such a redeeming surprise in the episode for like their arc in the Clone Wars, because their arc I really enjoyed in season 7, but I know there were some people that were like, what's the point of this arc? It doesn't really make sense. It's that, I mean, some people were not big fans of Trace and Rafa. I was, it's like Latinas in doing in power, so I'm like all for it. More representation, please, especially people like us. So the fact that they showed up in this episode was such a breath of fresh air in a way, because when I saw the two characters originally in the mask, like especially what happened in the War of the Bounty Hunter comic books, which spoiler if anyone hasn't read it, but apparently, and if you saw our last episode with Chris Ryan's, his prediction theory was correct, and the person that does have Han Solo and Carbonite is Kira, as a matter of fact. So that theory was correct. I haven't read the comic book, so it's spoiled for me. So sorry, everybody. But when I saw, the two, there is a spoiler alert though in the artwork for this episode, so we're warned. But when I saw the two characters in the helmets originally, I thought they were doing the whole Disney synergy. It's like, okay, comic books, TV shows, movies. We're gonna,
and because you're in Corellia and everything, right. We thought maybe,
I thought it was gonna be Han and Kira, even though I think they would technically be too young at this point in time to have been them. But for some reason, I'm like, oh no, please don't do it, don't do Han and Kira. But then like they took off their masks and it was Trace and Rafa. I'm like, oh yes.
No, but first Trace, Rafa speaks, and me and El Husbando were like, I know that voice. What? And then you hear through the comm, Rafa, I got the. It's the Martez sisters. They brought them back. Oh my God, that is so unexpected. Yep. I did not expect that to happen at all. I was super excited to see them again and to see them, how they interact with the Bad Batch. I thought was really cool because it's like they were on opposite sides of it, but they end up having to work together throughout the episode. And you can see that they're like genuinely good people. Like even though Trace is, trying to compete with Omega for, the head, as soon as she sees that like Omega gets stuck, she actually goes back to help her, so it's like I thought they're great, and I thought it was really good chemistry them and especially Rafa and Hunter kind of like having each other's back, but like at the same time, dude, you almost killed me back there. So I thought it was really, really good chemistry, really well done. It was really fun.
So one of the things I really enjoyed about like having Trace and Rafa back was like how they are kind of a counterbalance to the Bad Batch in the sense of where they were in Clone Wars, right? Because in Clone Wars they were seedy underground and kind of doing morally ambiguous things, but they were doing it in order to survive, right? Because the the Republic wasn't watching out for them. But now in the Bad Batch, they're doing morally ambiguous things, but in support of the nascent rebellion, because they realize that the Empire is kind of a shady institution, that even though it's, you know, the same thing as the Republic that they also weren't trusting, now they have to actively go against it because it's oppressing them. And compared to the Bad Batch, who were, you know, the arm, right, of the Republic, and now in a way the Empire, even though they're not serving them, but they still look like, you know, they would, because they still wear their, you know, clone armor. They're doubting their place, and by seeing these people doing these morally things, it makes them question what moral ambiguity they have as well. So it's just like, well, we're also stealing the same thing, but what's the purpose of us stealing it? What are we serving? You know, what good are we serving to do it? So I thought it was genius, especially anchored thematically through Omega's use of the crossbow. I mean, of the bow and arrow, because in the beginning it's like they say that she's not able to hit the target because she can't focus and tune everything out. But then Sid's like, no, isn't that because you're not strong enough to pull it? And it's like Braun versus, you know, it's like that duality, right? Of like why things aren't working, which is the same thing with the Bad Batch. Why the morality, the duality, right? Of like stealing something for seedy reasons, i.e. Sid and the criminal underworld, or stealing something for the greater good and combating the Empire, i.e. Trace and Rafa. Sorry, I kind of went rambling there, but
you loved it.
I loved it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
it's the beauty of it. Like, and going back also to like what Nani was saying, like we're kind of seeing that transition of like, even at the beginning they didn't even have like autonomy. Like Sid told them, this is what you're gonna do, and they ended up doing that. But it's now
good soldiers follow orders, right?
Right, they're still following orders in all senses. You know, they're just changing. And at the end you see Hunter kind of saying that to Rafa, like, it was easier when we were just soldiers, because you don't have to think. You don't have to question morality.
Everything's laid out for you.
Whatever, you're a soldier, you follow orders. And that's the flip side of being now a free agent. Like, you're now facing all of that morality and all of that. And Rafa told, like, you're always making a choice. Like, even if you're
even
following
not making
orders,
a choice is making a choice.
or just following orders, the choice. That was the whole point of the Nuremberg trials. Like, you, just because somebody told you to do it doesn't take away your authority and your liberty to say, no, I'm not going to follow that order.
That's why we're allowed to be conscientious, in theory, objectors in the military.
In theory.
But I did like that they're, you know, struggling with it. And then at the end of the day, Hunter was just like, I'm pretty sure you're going to do better with this than we would. Like, we have no idea who we're selling this information to, and we know you're going to use it for the greater good. So he actually makes the decision. And then Rafa is like, well, think about it some more, because everybody ends up choosing sides. Like, it's your time to step up. You can't just like lean back on the fact that you are soldiers now. The war is still ongoing and you have to pick what side you're on. So,
and that's what I thought was great about that, because now, instead of, because which was my concern, right, last week, it's like every episode's going to be like them doing a new job for Sid, but that might end real quickly, because now they're going to have to face the consequences of their actions, of not delivering, right, the memory stuff from the tactical droid. And Sid already has implied that she will sell them out if they don't do what she wants to do. So like next episode is like that, they might be on the run again, and I like it because they made a choice. And now they have to live with those consequences and see where it takes them. Before we go any further, we were saying the whole good soldiers follow orders. Everyone was right. Everyone was right. And Wrecker's ship seems like it's just 1 millimeter away now from just going full on Order 66.
It's just short sequencing.
I mean, I felt so bad for him this episode, because first, the whole thing with his fear of heights, like the poor guy is just like, and then you're leaving me as the lookout and you're leaving me up here, and then I have to jump over there. Like, guys, no. And I mean, it's so, because he's like, you know, the brawniest and the biggest one of them all. And he's also kind of the most vulnerable one. And I love how they show that, you know, he has real fears. And then when he jumps, and then my head, and he actually passes out and everything. I was like, don't do this to me. But I thought it was really cool how it wasn't just him like repeating the line, like he actually hears Crosshair saying it too in the background, like with soldiers follow orders, and he's completely knocked out and unresponsive. But as soon as Omega asks him for help, he responds.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
So I thought that was
that was a very good touch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, which might be the what comes next. Like Omega will be the one taking out the chip. Like we already saw, like, oh, Omega's not a natural at like shooting at anything. So we're kind of setting it up for, okay, so what is Omega natural at? What's Omega's real talent? And yeah, I think that might be related to that, especially that bond that they've created.
Right.
Like it goes past any like implant or chip. Like it's like that love for the family over just the mental order in a way.
Right. Which I, to that point, like I had heard a theory today, I don't know if it was on Star Wars Explained or somewhere, about more or less that Omega is going to be the one to kind of bring him back, as opposed to the chip sensor thing that Tech was developing.
Trying to develop,
but I think I don't think it's going to be like one or the other. I think that both are going to work in tandem. Like it'll
probably be a combination.
I think they'll need the tech support. Sorry, that was it just popped into my head and I had to do it. But tech's scan thing, and then through that, and then Omega's the one to finally reach him and break him out of it. So I think it's going to be like a combination of the two of them. But I hope it doesn't happen next episode, because I don't think I can handle it. But I think it needs to happen sooner rather than later, because I also can't keep waiting for Record to go full Order 66.
Zombieing. Yep.
But what a
gonna go all ballistic.
Oh, it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna really hurt me.
But what about that little cameo? Well, it was a cameo. We don't know who it was, but who that person that Trace and Rafa were talking to there at the end, the hologram, which we only get to see their shoulder. Big cliffhanger. Who do we think that is?
Well, it has to be Mephisto.
I didn't see that coming. Touché, sir.
Mephisto.
Thank you.
If not Palpatine, we can go down the list.
Oh my god. I think it's Rex.
I thought it was Fulcrum. I thought it was Fulcrum.
I think it's Fulcrum, but
I think it's too soon for Ahsoka.
I hope it's not like. Well, they did say it was a he. So. They did call Fulcrum a he when.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it might be Fulcrum. So.
Well, there were different Fulcrums though.
True. I was talking to your brother the other day, and I thought I'm like, what if it's just Cassian, and that way they connected to. But then it's like, no, he's too young at this point to probably be in the doing this. So not Cassian. But it might be. I thought about Bail Organa at first also, but I think he's too. I think he's too high level to be talking to Trace and Rafa. In my opinion.
Could it be Obi? Like Obi-Wan?
I think at this point Obi would still. He's like full. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Obi's like exile now. He's not dealing with this.
But it did look like a robe a little bit, so I did think it was a possibility.
Yeah.
Like we don't know. We obviously know that he goes into hiding right away because he takes newborn Luke to like his aunt and uncle, but we don't know what his involvement was when he was in hiding, because he was still aware of what was happening. So we don't know if he might have had like a little bit of an involvement, like even as an exile, which I'm hoping we're going to find out in the Obi-Wan show, but there's a possibility of that happening. But we do know that Rex shows up in this show, so this would be a good candidate for it. I think aside from the fact that they already called him a he, because Josmando was like, maybe it's Ahsoka, but I'm pretty sure right after Order 66, Ahsoka goes into hiding. It takes her actually a while to get in touch with everybody else and like come back into the rebellion. So I don't think it would have been her regardless. So be awesome to see Rex. So, and to see that interaction of, other, different clones that have,
Or-
rebelled against the Empire. So
Now I wanna say like it will be fun if it will be Hondo or somebody.
oh my god, if it was Hondo.
Yeah. But
I love
I
Hondo.
am interested in knowing about unknown Bad Batch.
Mhm.
That would totally be from left field. I would definitely not be expecting Hondo. So
It was
But you-
Hondo.
that-
yeah.
that- that would be
You will
interesting.
appreciate. Or Darth Jar Jar. We don't know about Jar Jar, so could
we
be
don't.
Darth Jar
That's
Jar.
true.
So
Oh, my computer's running out of battery. Yeah. Sounds like a
battery
sign,
and
sounds like a
internet.
sign.
It's
It's weird
But-
now because this is my work computer, and it's a nice computer, but the battery does not last too long, unfortunately. There we go, and Abemu's
Bad.
power.
Habemus power. Yeah.
But anyway, so I did
Oh.
Uh-huh.
I was just gonna ask something, but go ahead.
no, because when you talked about Hondo, it got me a little bit thinking, because obviously Hondo, it's like pirate man, with all these seedy connections, and Rafa and Trace were kind of, sketchy the first time around. So they probably have some connections, and they didn't necessarily find their rebellion through legitimate people. So I think
Yeah.
it would actually be super cool if it turned out to be Hondo.
Yeah. I'm sure Hondo will be against the Empire. Like,
Or would he? I mean, lots of criminal underworld, like the Hutts really thrived with the Empire because, the Empire kind of turned a blind eye to all of these groups and, in fact, collaborated with them, as we've seen in some things. So I'm not sure. I mean, we know that Hondo at the bottom of his heart is kind of like, will do the right thing if he's absolutely forced to do it. But I don't know if he would be actively against the Empire at this point. I don't know.
so, but ultimately, Hondo's a pirate. So the
Yeah.
Empire, there's more police presence. There's
Mhm.
the whole military complex. While if there was none, then you have like a descale military. So Hondo might be happier on less patrolled space.
True.
Well, and we know he works with and betrays often our family from Rebels. So I mean,
Yes.
when he's not with them, he could probably be doing jobs for the Empire. I don't think
Yeah.
he cares that much.
Yeah,
one way
no.
or the
He
other.
ultimately whoever pays the bills. You
Mhm.
know.
He's like DJ in that sense. It's like, hey, resistance, first order, it's all the same. It's all a machine.
All the same.
man.
I'm gonna steal from everybody and sell things to everybody. Like
Mhm.
it's the pirate way.
But I think with that, a short episode, but once again, a great episode. So I don't know if anyone else had anything to add. I think we can start wrapping up for today. We have a couple of announcements though to get through before the
Yes.
end of the episode. But any final thoughts on Decommissioned? I have just
I just
one
want
more
to
that
say,
I forgot.
yeah, that the fact that it was decommissioned, I love seeing because both the clones are decommissioned now technically because they
Mhm.
don't work, for the Empire anymore. And then against the droids who were all destroyed
Right.
because now it's the Empire, and then they were working together in this
Right.
episode. And it was so cool because even the Bad Batch was like, never thought I was going to be battling alongside some battle droids. And then even the battle droids were like, orders are orders. So I
That's
thought it was like a
basically
good.
that's basically what I was gonna add. Is the whole title, how poignant it was, especially because, and I don't know if it means anything, but like having the decommissioned droids do one last mission. I wonder if like, is this like something that you're trying to say about the Bad Batch? Now they've been decommissioned, and this is like their last mission doing something, and I don't know, but I thought it was like an
nice touch.
interesting kind of duality, and again anchored through Omega's kind of little mini hero's journey, right? Like in this episode, because at the end, what is she able to do? Shoot her arrow, not through her, not because her brawn was missing, but because she was able to zone everything out and do what she needed to do. So that was a nice little tie. They tied that little story up with a little bow, which I really appreciated. But going down to like our announcements, I think the first main thing, I think for everyone that's listening, if you were expecting like regular scheduled episodes for Wednesdays, we will not be doing regular scheduled episodes for Wednesdays. during the month of June. We're kind of taking a little break in June because we have a couple of personal things that, you know, we're all doing, so we're not able to schedule
lives.
anything. So yeah,
Traveling and
lives.
yeah.
we don't have unpaid interns, unfortunately. So we will still be trying yet. We still will be doing our Bad Batch reaction videos and podcast as much as we can, but we might, you know, be skipping a week or something. So we'll be a little spotty during the month of June, but we expect to be back full blast in July. So that's the first thing. And I think the second thing we wanted to kind of talk about a little bit was it's Pride Month. So happy Pride Month to everybody. And one of the things we wanted to kind of highlight was a circumstance that happened last Friday during our very good friends Pink Milk's live stream, where there was some unfortunate things that occurred there with some people that we don't really need to highlight. And really all we want to say is that obviously we support and stand with the LGBTQ plus community and, you know, all the underrepresented and unrepresented people. So this is obviously a big month for people that have been fighting a long time to get not only the recognition that they need and deserve, but the representation that they deserve. So we want to say we stand with you. We stand with our friends at Pink Milk and all the other great podcasts that do such a good job at representing and being part of that community. So,
and providing a positive space and love
Right.
and good things for Star Wars, and just trying to express how we love it and to be ourselves while saying it. So much positivity. We love you, Pit Milks. We love you all creators, and happy Pride.
Love everybody.
always, except people
Always.
that don't love other people because they're racist and bigots. We don't love you.
We still have compassion for you, but we don't love you.
Yes.
But
Well, anyway, I think that's it for us today, right?
yes.
Until next time.
Until next time. Well, thank you
Peace.
for joining us. We are Triad of the Force. You can find us wherever podcasts can be found. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter. Just search for Triad of the Force and you will find us. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, ring that bell. And everybody, again, happy Pride Month. Love, tolerance, acceptance. Good night. May the Force be with you.